Hi there, Harlan here, giving a little bit of a content warning for this week's episode. We do touch on some inappropriate sexual scenarios, cyberbullying, and the like. Granted, we get a little distracted throughout this episode, so those discussions are few and far between, to put it generously. On top of that, I wanted to give a little explainer for the YouTube audience. You'll notice that the video edit is a little bit different. I didn't find it to be the most appropriate thing to add a bunch of meme fart sounds and wacky visuals. So the video is a little bit more stark in contrast to past episodes. And I just thought that it was important to not detract from the seriousness of the episode and all of the things surrounding the history of Chris Chan. So that's why this week's video looks a little different. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it. It's a little longer. Normally I cut the videos down to almost half, just trimming the fat and some of the stuff, but I still thought it was really important to leave in everything that Kyle and I discussed, because it's a very serious conversation and a serious topic that other people don't want to have for very understandable reasons. We're not the only podcast that has put off talking about Chris Chan, so I just didn't want to detract from that. Anyway, thank you for listening, and I hope you watch the whole video, and I hope you enjoy it. And bye now. Hello and welcome to another episode of 20,000 Leagues Under the Internet. I'm your captain this week, Harlan Spinks, and diving deep down into the trenches with me this evening is Kyle Luck. Say hello.
Hello. You don't sound too excited. What's up with that?
So we've had a few people say, hey, you should talk about Chris Chan and Sonichu on Patreon, on Instagram, on some of the places, and since people pay us money on Patreon, we caved and we took your requests, and we are going to talk about Chris Chan this week. And it's a lot, man.
I was refreshing myself today and got that same icky feeling that I usually get when exploring this topic. This is something that, like, over the years of being an internet person, you catch little glimpses of what's happening in Chris's life here and there because of articles that come out, or you're on a forum where all of a sudden that's like what's being talked about. It's just a lot. It comes up a lot.
It's, I mean, in the context of the show, this being sort of the whole conceit being we're undersea internet explorers, archivists trying to find all the nasty, weird things. This one and like Nikocado are like the Cthulhu's, the giant
the great old
underwater
ones.
Yes, the ancient ones, capital O. And every once in a while they're dormant, and then you see a tentacle just kind of come up at, and you go, oh, watch out for that one. We've reached a point of inevitability that it's going to have to be talked about, at least for a little bit. So we're doing that. And I will also say, I think that it's better that it's just you and I, because John is still in Europe doing his thing with his beautiful wife. It's better that you and I do this than have John here, because we might as well, like, if John were here, he might as well not be here when we do this.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be saying shit.
Yeah, that's fair.
This is not his cup of tea at all.
Yeah, we try to not do like full-on topics when one of us is away, but this is the one we're gonna do. So
it's just a great opportunity. If we're gonna do it, it's this one. I think that you and I have a stronger stomach when it comes to the weirder parts of the internet and the just all the Rule 34
Yeah,
stuff.
and can I just say, I don't know if I'm happy about that. I don't know if I'm like cool with that. It's like I'm thinking about like my childhood and the videos I used to watch. Like when I really think about even when I was reading back on some of this Chris Chan stuff, it's like, oh my God, like remembering like taking the internet at face value as a kid and just being like, this is how it is. And now
this is the real world, I guess.
Looking at the internet now, it's almost unrecognizable. Like from things I used to like lay my eyes on via a simple Google search. You know what I mean? It's like, it's ridiculous.
What was it? One man, one cup, cake farts, the amount of beheading videos that were just on
Mr.
YouTube.
Hands,
Mr. Hands,
BME Pain Olympics. Yeah, the jar thing was brutal. When the sound of the jar breaking within the man, it was just
my. Yeah. And it was like, because it was filmed on like a shitty old like mid 2000s camera, it's so tinny on top of it being glass breaking.
It's so rough.
It's so much worse.
Oh God. But you know, it's like, it's wild to think that like I was 12, I was 10, like looking at these things like.
Well, and like, that's a thing that I think, and again, I hate to generalize on the show, but I think for the majority of people like Gen Z, they don't know how good they've got it on the internet right now. The amount of like policing and people like, you know, being a little bit more careful about what they say. There being actual repercussions on the internet for stuff you post. Back in the day, it was the Wild West on the internet. You could put anything up and no consequences, nothing. Like it.
Can you imagine?
It was just normal.
Can you imagine your first social media platform that you get into is TikTok? Like, no, that's wild to think about. Like, hey, you're starting with what is like considered the best social media platform like ever made. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you literally don't need another one with TikTok now.
As long as TikTok doesn't fuck their shit up. I know I was trying not to do a cuss, but there's no other way to say it. As long as TikTok just stays the course, the biggest thing is like, you know, all these other platforms get too invested in trying to monetize and altering the thing to be the other thing. Just stay the thing that you started at, because people love that. As long as TikTok doesn't do that, TikTok's not going anywhere.
Well, and like I've talked about how much, even as a 36-year-old man, how much I love TikTok, because it kind of has even the playing field in terms of like who can be a creator and what content has value, because it's so easy to find all that different content. The thing that kind of bums me out about TikTok is, and the internet in general, talking about like Chris Chan and stuff, is that like, while it was crazy in the early 2000s, there was something novel and fun about finding weird websites that I know would never get the traction that they would now because of algorithms and things like that. Like you just typing in a URL, being like, I don't know, maybe this website exists. Yeah. And then finding cake farts, and you're like, holy,
I was just kidding. Okay. This is a thing. And that turns into a weird apple juice frenzied sleepover with the boys.
So many nights of playing Halo, getting in arguments over Xbox Live on Halo, calling people the R word, like doing a bunch of terrible
hard.
And then in the background, a separate group of friends are looking at weird, the wildest videos that you will ever come across that do not exist anymore. Like all happening. Like it was such a moment in time where it was like, not only was the internet new, but it was on our video games too for the first time. And we could talk beyond just like, you know, chat rooms that were most likely like old fat dudes somewhere. It was like, no, I know that this is another teenager.
I can hear it in their voice. That's a teen on the other side.
I'm screaming at.
That's a fellow teen.
Yeah, who's shouting racial slurs at me. It's like a wild time.
You have no idea what you're saying, but you're saying it because you've learned that it's a dunk or a diss of some kind.
Yeah, you just know that it's bad. You don't know the historical context really beyond that. Your parents are like, don't say this or don't do this.
This is reminding me of a time where we'll talk about Chris Chan eventually. This is reminding me of a time
we will, yeah.
I went to a Halo 1 LAN party that
dude, the best.
That my friends youth group pastor was hosting at the church.
Hell yeah.
So we had 16 boys hanging out with this youth pastor one day. He ordered some pizzas. And we had, cables running from room to room, 4 people in 4 rooms, like around each box. And we were doing a bracket thing, and everyone had to enter their, like, we had to say what names, what our usernames were. And it came, like, everyone's like, I'm Falcor. I'm Master Chief number 1. And I was like, yo, what's up? I'm Dick Burger. The youth pastor dude's like, okay. So we're going to call you D Burger.
I'm a pastor. I cannot be caught saying that.
I recently drove by that church with my wife, and I was like, in there, I'm known as Dick Burger. Excuse me, D Burger. And she's like, excuse me? I was like, a story for another time.
Just leave it in the mystery of
She's
of
like,
it.
I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know.
The place we did our LAN parties was at a cafe in my hometown called Serendipity, or The Dip. Oof. And
Hot.
we would go over there. Everybody would bring their monitors and their Xboxes, and we would just set up, like, I think it was after hours, after they had closed.
Oh, sick.
And because it was run by our friends who were also like maybe 20.
And they had the keys.
Yeah, they had the keys. They eventually,
cool.
like a decade or I don't know, maybe 15 years later, they ended up buying it, and now they own the cafe and run it, just like they used to when we were teenagers.
They should bring back Halo LAN parties. That's what they should do.
Yeah, find old Xbox 360s or the original
Halo
Xbox.
After Dark, that would kill. Let's go.
Yeah, dude. so good. I miss being a child.
So we just demonstrated the flip side of our childhood there pretty well. Mm-hmm. As long as the internet wasn't involved and it was local area network, it was a good time.
Yeah, it was a really good time. Well, there was like a certain group of friends that you did the bad stuff with, and then like when it was a wider group of friends, you had to be a little bit more careful, which I guess is just how life in general is.
That's true. We still do that, actually.
We have our own separate chats with all of the nasty,
like
weird shit.
partition chats based on topic with certain people that would be interested in said topics.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my God.
Not much has changed.
See, we're really just big kids. That's all.
So you want to talk about Christian?
I mean, we could just keep going on this. I'm sure this is good radio. I'm sure people are digging this.
I hope so. This is like our more lax versions of our online personas right now.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so I have the Know Your Meme page pulled up.
Sure.
I know you said you did some research.
I read 2 articles and perused the Wikipedia and watched a YouTube video that was 40 minutes long that I jumped between.
Oh my God. I thought you were going to say you watched the whole thing.
No. It was the speech I was talking about, the dimension. Doesn't matter.
The thing that we don't understand and is so full of. This is the thing with Chris Chan, man. There is so much lore. And so on the Know Your Meme webpage, somebody put together a timeline of sagas. It starts at 2005, and it's like a line graph, and it has one for Sweethearts, one for Trolls/Other, and then one for and a legend that says continuous activity, sporadic activity, dormant, ongoing. So. There's just so much. Like in the beginning, there's only 3 lines on this chart. One is the saga begins summer 2005, and there's a big red line that says Megan Schroeder, who was like a friend of Chris's in the beginning, who like then got freaked out because he essentially became obsessed with her and drew some disturbing images of their relationship. That's the other thing about this.
That keeps happening.
Yeah. That's a recurring theme. They like to draw their own fan art of real people.
Yeah, or they're just themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. But like that's I totally forgot what I was gonna say, dude. Which is
my
fine.
You're like, that's the thing. You know what? I don't know what the thing was.
I don't know that I want to revisit what the thought I was.
I threw that like invisible wrench into your thought process by simply agreeing with you and adding on to what you were saying.
Yeah.
That's how you know we've got it. That's how we're pro podcasters.
We're really serious about this episode.
Yeah.
But it starts out relatively with not a whole lot of stuff going on in Chris Chan's life. And then there's like Adam Stackhouse, who was like another troll, I think. And then it's like somebody else comes in, and then all of a sudden there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or 11 separate sections of different people who discovered Chris Chan's content and started just relentlessly trolling them.
Yeah.
And I guess the takeaway is cyberbullying is bad. Like, at the end of the day, that's really what a lot of Chris Chan's story is, which is why it's hard to talk about and make it fun to listen to.
It's not really going to be fun to listen to. It's really sad. It is the poster child or like a poster whatever person for what happens when you are dealing with that internet that we talked about earlier in the show, like that unedited, that raw internet energy. When you subject yourself to it, or when it targets you, this is what we're going to talk about is the result of that energy.
Right. Well, and I haven't mentioned either that if you're not familiar with Chris Chan, they are a trans autistic person. Like they have their own things that they're dealing with, like very complicated and nuanced things that for somebody who is on the spectrum, like, I don't know, like I'm not a doctor. I don't want to just say that like if you're autistic, it might be a little harder for you to kind of comprehend a lot of the things that are going on in your own mind. But being autistic and being trans in the online environment that you are, it's like how many roadblocks and how many things, like it just seems like a lot for one person to have to take on and deal with and get essentially persecuted for without any real reason. Yeah.
Running like a Tumblr, like having, I mean, something like equivalent, you know?
Yeah. I mean, on the flip side too, though, Chris Chan has posted a lot of awful shit themselves. Mm-hmm. So there's also that aspect of it where it's like, just because you have a disability or just because, you know, you are autistic or you are trans doesn't excuse all of the bad stuff that you do. You still make the choice to draw, like I said earlier, this Megan person, awful fan art of you in sexual scenarios with them without their consent. Like, that's also not great. So it's just adding like to the layer of this shit sandwich that happened. And again, this was 2007 roughly. Like, if this were to happen today, I don't know if the outcome would be better or worse. I really don't. But I know that back then it was definitely not a thoughtful conversation that was happening around this person's content.
No, absolutely not.
I think that now there would be a little bit more, you know, insight and people being more comfortable talking about, you know, the LGBTQ community, people in the community, autistic people, you know.
I know. But it didn't happen in that time.
It didn't happen. And now we have this.
it ended. And well, it didn't. I mean, the conclusion that we're probably building towards for today, if we get there, was last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So like it died when it could have, if it started, it might have had a different outcome, basically. But like you said, we have to hold people accountable for their things, regardless of disability or what. But also, the internet is a horrible jungle of people looking to, like, it's kind of wild, like, thinking about bullying on the internet in general. You're not interacting with the person in real life, right?
Yeah.
You can just come home after a long day at work, sit down in front of the computer and just be like, lol, and, you know, throw a quick slur at someone on the internet, and you have no idea. It could cause a shockwave of, like, thoughts and feelings on their side, and they just like go log off and then go
and forget about you.
Yeah, they don't think about it for another second.
Yeah,
it's like
which,
crazy.
It's wild. I mean, I first learned about Chris Chan through the Sonichu cartoons that they were drawing, which
same.
Back then, those were great. When I only knew about Sonichu, I was like, these are awesome. I love looking at these. They're hilariously bad.
Mm-hmm.
They're not good. Rip-offs of Sonic the Hedgehog. They're yellow for some reason. Not
because
blue.
of Pikachu.
It's a combination.
Yeah.
Right.
Combination of Sonic the Hedgehog and Pikachu from famously known from Pokemon.
Oh yeah, Pokemon.
Have you heard of a Pokemans? Do you know about this?
It sounds familiar. I know of Digimons.
It's basically this guy goes around in the wild, finds animals, and encloses them in small little cages that he holds on his belt. And then when they encounter other people, he unleashes them to fight to the death with other ones. And then if they win, he goes, "Good job," and then puts them back in their little circular prison.
When you put Pokemon in that context, it's kind of wild.
Like animal trapping, like cockfighting situation.
Yeah, this is like some Michael Vick shit. Like, what is happening?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah. Should we talk about the Sonichu cartoons because they're the funniest part about all this?
Sure. What do you got for me? I just have like vague memories of the little like shitty drawn webcomics,
Yeah, so oh my god, and then there's parodies of their Sonichus.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so there's Simon Chu. Oh, this is a bummer.
This is what'd you see?
Asper Chu.
Oh no. Oh my god. Well, that's what I'm saying though. This is like it's impossible to tackle this topic in the normal amount of time that we would spend.
Yeah, I mean the other parodies of Sonichu, one it just says pickle fan art. I don't know what's happening anymore.
Yeah, it runs deep. The thing is with Sonichu was it was innocent enough. The content, if I remember correctly, was pretty non-consequential, like weird social situations that Sonichu was in.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, it was kind of that, but it also described Sonichu's sex life and implemented some of Chris's own personal problems. Mostly the ability to not find a boyfriend-free girlfriend, quote unquote, is what I'm looking at here.
A boyfriend-free girlfriend?
Which, yeah.
Yeah, meaning he was looking for a girl who, at the time, they were looking for
hang on, sorry.
Hold on, let me correct things. They were looking for a woman who was not attached to a man, is what that means.
Yeah, which, when you put it in that way, a boyfriend-free girlfriend presupposes that every woman has some attachment and is not an individual, which is like
interesting,
weird.
Yeah. Sonichu though is like a major persona that takes it follows Chris throughout, still to this day, to their throughout their life.
Yeah.
It is the thing that almost drew the ire of more trolls. It's the dam that broke that.
The weird thing too about like this is just like the internet in the early 2000s in general, but like you post one bad drawing of something, and it's like The Room or a Neil Breen film where it's so bad it kind of becomes good again. And the creators don't understand that they're famous now, not because people really think they're great directors or filmmakers, but because of how bad their art is. And it feels very much the same thing where Chris drew these bad Sonichu characters. I can't speak for them, obviously, but the popularity that kind of came along with it feels more like it started in the same way where it was like, wow, these are so bad, I'm going to share it to all my friends.
Yeah.
And Chris maybe didn't know that people thought it was bad and not that the popularity was because they thought it was good. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's just the whole vibe of all of this.
But that makes the criticism even more confusing, or the trolling even more confusing and traumatizing. If you're
exactly.
Yeah,
from their perspective.
Yeah, if you're thinking like, oh, I'm getting good feedback on this, and there's also this extreme like violence coming your way,
right? Yeah,
like it's like kind of wild.
I don't think, and again, I think that to draw more of a comparison between somebody like what's the director of The Room? Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah, Wiseau.
Like, to draw more of a comparison between that situation, at least kind of how it differed, is Chris Chan was on the internet posting this stuff all over the place. Mm-hmm. Tommy Wiseau made one bad movie and released it on DVD. Maybe he had a website, but it's not like he had social media. He didn't have a YouTube channel. So people didn't really have the outlet for somebody like Tommy Wiseau to basically send him death threats. Maybe they did. I don't know. Maybe Tommy Wiseau didn't address them. But Tommy Wiseau wasn't also posting to his Twitter account about all of the death threats either. So you end up where the only part of like people like that you see are the people that are genuinely love bad movies and know it's bad and are going because it's bad. But that's kind of all we see as the public, and kind of all that Tommy Wiseau sees probably is all of the people going to watch his movie, not fully understanding why people are going to see it. Whereas Chris Chan is getting direct messages saying to like kill yourself. You know what I mean?
There's also the fact that Chris Chan, I don't know exactly when it happened, but they were the victim of like an extreme, like their laptop got like hacked. I hate that word, but like for lack of a better term, their information was leaked and well documented out, like text conversations, emails, receipts, like all this stuff went out on the internet. It made Chris Chan one of the most, if not the most documented, like singular person on, like as an internet celebrity. You have so much access to their personal life if you want it. Like you can go find it still. And it just causes this weird thing. Whereas the Tommy Wiseau comparison is like, he's a black hole. You can send him letters, you can send him texts, whatever. It never comes back out.
People still don't even know where he got the money to finance the movie he made. There's like all kinds of weird conspiracy theories about like how he's, who's the guy that jumped out of the plane in the 70s that stole all the money from the plane? DB Cooper?
Yeah.
People think that he's DB Cooper. Like...
The thing is though, is like if you have it, with Chris Chan, you're putting this stuff, you're like almost investing in the economy when you when you take an insult and you respond to it and put it back, you put that energy back into the thing. People invest in that and will just keep attacking it. It's like this weird market growth. But if you keep putting
Such
your
a
money,
weird way to put it, but it's true.
It is. But if someone like Tommy Wiseau, you keep investing insults and rage into, and nothing comes back from it. No return on investment, baby. You're done. You're moving on to the next person.
Yeah. Well, and it makes it more novel too. Even somebody like Neil Breen, who is in that same category as like a Tommy Wiseau, he's made a bunch of terrible movies. He put out like, dude, he released like one of his last movies, and it came with a behind the scenes track that's like 4 hours long or something.
Oh man.
Where it's basically him trying to do like a master class for all of his fans and people who buy his movies, talking about how you make a movie, what is lighting, how do you mic a scene, and like none of it is done well. So it's like the person who knows the least telling you how to make a movie, and it's like this is all wrong. Everything you're saying is wrong.
Kind of incredible, but it's like you just gotta rock that confidence.
But yeah, but even then, it's like we don't know a lot about them. Like Neil Breen was an architect, I think, and that's where he got a lot of his money. But like it almost makes them more fascinating because we don't know as much.
Sure.
Whereas for me, the whole Chris Chan thing and other people similar to Chris Chan, it gets to a point where the more you learn about a person and all of their as every person has all of their beautiful nuance and sad nuance and complications and issues and problems, it gets sadder and sadder and sadder. Like, I don't want to know everything about anybody. You know, like, at the end of the day,
that's fair.
I just don't. I have to deal with my own personal shit that is not always.
I don't even want to know everything about me, dude.
Yeah. It sucks to know yourself. Like, why would you want to invest this much time into a stranger, especially a stranger who has probably like more hurdles than the average person to overcome? Like, it's just.
But that's also hearkening to reality TV of today. People love watching people crash and burn.
I just don't.
This is like an easy comparison to reality TV of like, it's a reality TV star of the internet.
Yeah.
Because of the access, because of the interaction, because of the participation that Chris Chan had in their own destruction. Yeah. It is very much like a reality TV star that is in on it and is down for the scripting, is down to go for it. Except in Chris Chan's case,
yeah, do
it's
they
not
fully
scripted.
And also do they fully comprehend the stakes that are involved? Like, that's the thing.
I don't think so ever.
Yeah, that's the thing that really is the bigger issue with me, because we can talk about like reality TV, but we all know that most of the time it's staged. It's not real. Like, there's probably real infighting and people probably really don't like each other. But again, there still is like a buffer there.
Totally.
Where it's like, this is still a persona, and my brain can reconcile that, to know that like when the lady throws the glass of wine across the table at the other rich lady,
it's because she was getting an extra $750 for doing so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the producer
it's in her contract. Every thrown wine glass, extra $750.
When it's Chris Chan, it's like, what? They're not getting anything out of this. Like, the only people that are getting anything out of this are the people making the jokes and making the slander and making the horrible, just saying the horrible thing. And like, are you okay? Like, are your fans okay?
Yeah,
like,
I know.
I just, I don't know. I remember what it was like being a much more cynical, like a late teen, early 20s person, and getting off on this type of thing a little bit, like watching somebody like that. What is it? A little bit of Schadenfreude from seeing other people's
that embarrassment
failures.
for other people or whatever. Is that German word?
No, it's getting pleasure out of seeing other people's fail or fall, or
not the word I was thinking of.
No.
Okay.
It's but like, I understand it to a degree, but as I got older, I was like, man, this participating in that just makes me feel bad too.
Sure.
And at a certain point, reality really starts to hit you, especially once you start to have your own personal problems and go, oh, this sucks when you fail and when people call you out on your bullshit. Why have I been enjoying this for so long?
I know Will Smith isn't exactly the
God, I love that we've.
Where are you going?
Never in a million years would I think, while talking about Chris Chan, Will Smith would come up, but here we are.
It's somewhat relevant because he had a really good defense of his son Jaden. But I was gonna say, not that I really want to like be pro Will Smith right now,
right?
But words are words. I guess that's a weird. Don't quote me on that. Words are words. Kyle Luck.
You can say some insightful shit and still be a bad person. They're not mutually exclusive.
But like, he was on some late night show being interviewed about his son's. It was a potential Chris Chan situation on our hands. Jaden Smith was doing that like deep emo, like I'm thinking surreal thoughts, like stuff on Twitter,
His
Instagram, everything.
Were wild.
Do you remember this? Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was the most cryptic, weird teen stuff that you would have seen, that we probably did when like MySpace was a thing.
Just like Sonichu though. It's like
sure.
It's close. It's pretty close without the weird like injecting your sexual like insecurities into the comics, but the point is though, is Will Smith is like, yeah, man, I'm really glad that I didn't have the internet when I was a kid and all my crazy shit I said wasn't documented, because hey, everybody
Dude.
has this developmental lizard brain thing happening, and at some point, you just hope like. Think about all the people that never had the internet. They can think back, man, I remember when I was 16 and I was thinking about this stuff. Good thing I'm 85 and no one ever learned about that.
Yeah, good thing it's still up here in this vault.
It's just here. But, with the internet, which was still kind of new and in its ultimate Wild West phase in the early 2000s, like someone like Chris Chan just caught the bad side of a bullet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This was like a perfect storm of awful. I did pull up some of Jaden Smith's
please.
tweets.
Yeah, grace us with Lord Jaden's words.
2014, he tweeted, anyone born on this planet should have a planetary citizenship enabling them to freely explore their home.
I mean, I don't disagree. That's like an infinite visa for every country.
This next one, though, goes hand in hand with that first one. Currently going through customs, even though I was born on this planet. Honestly, that's kind of fucking fire.
Yeah.
That's kind of sick, dude.
Yeah, that's good.
Here he tweets about the movie Ready Player One. Oh, this is 2021.
Okay. This is recent, baby. We're going.
Whoa. Ready Player One is one of the best movie of all time, and now everyone can see its influence. But it's just a movie about other movies.
Yeah, it's literally about being obsessed with, like, being masturbatory for the 80s.
Yeah, and pop culture, yeah, and Steven Spielberg. Did Steven Spielberg direct that?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it maybe was.
I'm bad at that. Don't take me to trivia night. I don't know the answer to these questions. I don't know. 2012, here we go. I only apply to the Sixth Amendment. Wait, what's the Sixth Amendment? I don't know. There's so many amendments.
But this is like the sixth one. It seems like it should probably be a pretty.
It's in the Bill of Rights.
Yeah. Look,
here look. Now that I'm not recording my phone, I can look things up easy. This is good.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing. Sixth Amendment guarantees criminal defendants 9 different rights, including the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury consisting of juries. Wait, what? And he's saying I only apply to that one?
He only applies, or he's saying the amendment only applies to him. Wait,
I only apply to the Sixth Amendment. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting wordplay, Kyle, if that's where he's going.
What year was that?
2012. Was he in trouble in 2012?
Well, I mean, everyone was. We're all about to get raptured in 2012, so I think he was just getting it all out before the end.
Yeah, telling the Mayan god, hang on a second, I have the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury consisting of jurors from the state and district in which the crime was alleged to have been. This is crazy that he tweeted this.
Wait. Am I getting things twisted here? That was when the Mayan calendar was going to end. It was going to end. When was the rapture supposed to happen?
Yeah. It was the 2012. Well,
so that was it 2 separate events?
I don't know. I mean, the rapture, it feels like those nut jobs are saying it's going to happen every year, and it never does. The guy still hasn't come back.
Our phone never rings. No one watches this show, apparently. This is live, so you could call. You could call us right now and correct us on this, but you won't. You're cowards. You're all cowards. That's fine. We'll sit up here and take it.
Oh, this was a classic one from Jaden. How can mirrors be real if our eyes aren't real?
Yep.
I want that on a t-shirt, dude.
I want that tattooed along my upper back in like some shitty font.
In Old English.
Yeah.
This was the same year. Who has the floss?
Can you please pass the floss?
Oh, dude, I forgot about this one. I'm so sorry. These are so good. Most trees are blue.
Disagree. Hard disagree.
I think he just
he was not sober in that moment.
He was colorblind in that one.
Yeah, or on mushrooms.
So that's Jay. This has been the episode about Jaden.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in to Smith Corner.
So
what were we talking about?
I don't know, man.
I was talking about just access, but let's jump to a new part in the timeline. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how far forward do we want to go? Because I've got Megan Schroeder, Adam Stackhouse, Ed sagas, 2005 to 2011, Blanca Jimmy Hill saga, 2008 to 2009, Clyde Cash saga, 2008 to 2010. Blue Spike, Julie, Ivy, Liquid Chris, Casey.
These are different bullies or different personas.
I think it's a mix of both. They're just titled
Or
sagas.
trolls.
So these are like either trolls that I read over some of them where it's like trolls who were impersonating Chris's girlfriend or tricking Chris into thinking they were dating.
I saw a lot of things about people were reaching out to Chris posing as girlfriends, and I was like, okay, there must be something to this where, it might be because of the Love Quest thing.
Okay, what's Love Quest? I don't know I didn't see that in any of
Okay, Love Quest, and I can only imagine the comments that are going to happen on YouTube for this video as we misquote all this Chris Chan lore.
I mean, listen.
But it's okay. It's okay. We're here to learn. We're here to talk about it.
Hey, I'll drop a cuss. Fuck them. I don't give a shit on this episode. Say whatever you want.
Love Quest was Chris's way to. Do you remember that episode we did about the guy who hosts his own website, Mikey, looking for "Hello, my future girlfriend"? It was kind of that. God, I'm gonna go re-listen to the episode and be like, you know what? We're really funny. I'm just gonna go listen to that in the shower.
Hey, you want to talk about our own episodes and how funny we think we are?
Yeah. Is that even on YouTube? I don't even think it is.
I don't.
It's fine.
Remember.
It's fine. We can figure that later. Definitely up on audio. So if you want to hear that, go listen to that.
While we're here, go follow us on.
If you've made it this far and you're actually enjoying what we're talking about right now, go listen to other stuff where we're a little more scripted. But it's like that where he was they were sitting on a campus of sorts with a sign that said something along the lines of like, it was like I can't remember what the sign said. It was something like, I want to love you, like, or like, I want to date you or whatever. Okay. And he's like, they were putting this stuff on the internet and receiving messages and it was part of their love quest.
I'm so sorry. When you described this scene, the first thing I thought of was, is there a meme where they take that Steven Crowder image and put Chris Chan's face on it and replace the sign?
Oh my God. I'm going to Google Steven Crowder Love Quest right now. Oh my God.
Prove me wrong. Love me. Prove me wrong.
Nope. No one's done it, Harland.
Oh, wow. Okay. I got to make a note to do that.
TM, R, TM.
Yeah. That's my meme. We came up with that just now.
That's our intellectual property.
If you share that meme, you have to credit us.
I'm going to try to find what's on the sign really quick. Chris Chan Love. This is great having my phone in my hands now. While we're doing this.
This is new for you.
Yeah. Got the whole not using my phone camera to do this anymore. Okay. Here we go. The Love Quest or Sweetheart Search was the longest real-life saga of Christian Weston Chandler, a.k.a. Chris Chan. Their goal was to obtain a girlfriend. The stated purpose of Love Quest was to meet the woman who would be his true love, solve all his problems, and bear his daughter, Crystal. The Love Quest represented a focused effort to do everything in their power to achieve romantic fulfillment, except, of course, improving themselves. So it's like, take me as I am, that kind of thing.
Oh God.
Apparently later there's, he starts being... Oh my God! I have to just read this. I'm sorry. I'm just going to read this a little bit.
No, that's fine.
While Chris maintained a belief in waiting for marriage to have sex due to his religious principles, or at least waiting until fully committing to a romantic relationship after at least 3 dates. That's pretty standard, I think.
Okay.
Chris started moving away from the idea of being faithful as they interacted with a number of fake sweethearts, down to wanting sex from Jackie, who's a linked person in this Wikipedia article, first and foremost when they first started communicating with them, and later being open to an open relationship where they could sleep with other people rather than a monogamous one. Because of this, Chris's antics are derisively referred to as the fuck quest.
Oh, well, I mean, listen, I don't disagree.
Yeah. I mean, it's like literally like an online dating Ponzi scheme, almost a little bit. Right, okay. It's like, I don't know how else to really word it.
God,
it's like
how...
You're basically doing what Barney Stinson does at the Super Bowl, where he holds up a sign of the Super Bowl that says CBS. Call Barney Stinson. Here's his phone number. It's like doing that. That's Barney's love quest, but Chris Chan's was a little different. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, how quickly they became corrupted with their love quest.
Yeah.
To like, I only want like a romantic relationship because I think it will fulfill me as a person, which that's bad. Don't work on yourself.
Yeah, you got to be good with yourself before you can be good for somebody else. Yeah.
Another person is not going to solve all your problems. There is no manic pixie dream girl out there. They don't. It's a figment. It's not real.
Manic pixie dream girl.
You've never heard of that?
No, I've never heard of that. Is that an episode?
What? Oh no, that's like an internet thing, dude.
Dude, the internet's a big place. I know some pieces of it.
Yeah. So the manic pixie dream girl. Manic Pixie, it's got its own Know Your Meme page.
Yeah, I believe it.
I'm going to read it. Is a stock character in films noted for being shallow, quirky, feminine, and providing inspiration for brooding protagonist male characters.
Interesting. What about Lost in Translation?
I think her character kind of, but they're not really. Their relationship is more platonic than romantic. But the term was coined by film critic Nathan Rabin in review of the 2005 comedy drama film Elizabethtown, published on The Onion's AV Club.
Wow, really?
In 2007
is really tying into our themes here.
Yeah. This is his description of Dunst's character. Dunst embodies a character type I like to call the manic pixie dream girl. See Natalie Portman in Garden State for another prime example. The manic pixie dream girl exists solely in the fevered imaginations of sensitive writer-directors to teach broodingly soulful young men to embrace life and its infinite mysteries and adventures.
Take that, Zach Braff. Have I ever told you about how I hated Zach Braff for years for no reason?
And it wasn't because of his his character in Garden State?
It actually was because of Garden State. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I was like, this is trash. This guy sucks. And,
yeah.
I mean, I've come around on the movie. The movie's fine now, but like, it's like, whatever.
But the thing is that that means you're a good man. There are a lot of men that related to Zach Braff and wanted their Natalie Portman.
Oh boy,
to save them and fix them. But it became a whole thing. I remember seeing it all the time in the late 2000s. People talking about the manic pixie dream girl all over the place. It became its own meme. There's multiple YouTube videos. There's the one that's titled "Manic Piss." Sorry,
Manic Piss. What'd you say? What'd you say, my man?
Manic Pixie Prostitute, which I assume is like a sketch. It looks like an old sketch video.
Okay.
From 10 years ago. So yeah.
All right.
But yeah, it just the Chris Chan thing reminds me of, or at least their love quest. Like they want a manic pixie dream girl. They want someone to come into their life and show them how beautiful the world is by their quirkiness.
And remember, Chris had already decided that their child would be named Crystal and would be a daughter.
Which
everything was laid out. There's just one missing piece. So Love Quest needed to happen.
Yeah, but it just so quickly turned into Fuck Quest and like...
Yeah. And he's like, Chris Chan is like, I really do believe in waiting for marriage, for coitus, but 3 dates, that'll do it too.
Right.
Yeah. We're basically committed at that point.
Well, and it also feels like one of those things where Chris didn't expect the attention and also didn't understand that a lot of it was cynical and
it's the interpretation of the attention.
Yeah, to being like, oh, people actually are coming, messaging me, saying to me they're my girlfriend. Why would I like immediately forgetting about all the other stuff that you said about like a romantic relationship and like waiting to just immediately kind of like want to take advantage of people. Like the whole thing is just gross.
I'm like almost hesitant to keep going because I know where we're going.
Yeah, I mean, we can get there now if we want, and like
that's fine.
Wrap this up.
We're at 48 minutes. We've talked about Chris Chan for all of 7 minutes. Actually, when it comes down to it, we've been talking about Chris Chan the entire time, just in a different way than we normally do. We normally talk about things to the letter about the thing. We're talking about the things surrounding the thing right now.
Yeah, I mean, as much as we've gotten sidetracked on purpose or not, they all kind of relate to what's going on here. So
yeah, totally.
So do you want to say the word, or should we flip a coin? I
can say it if you want.
Okay, this is the part I'm really uncomfortable with.
Okay, I'm just gonna do a little history recap for the end times of Chris Chan.
Right.
Actually, I want to take a quick stop. I found something today that I didn't realize was a thing that happened. Chris got to the point where they believed that the Sonichu dimension of those characters had collided with our material reality.
Oh yeah, I think I picked up on a little bit of this.
It's called the Great Collision or something, and how the government was trying to keep it quiet about it. I was watching a 40-minute video where Chris was standing at a podium, detailing out their research and their understanding of the situation, and how about 10 people had actually died due to the collision of these planes, but the government wasn't going to talk about it. But in doing so, it wasn't actually Chris that was on stage giving this lecture. It was actually Sonichu. At this point, Chris Chan had started to believe that their persona had melted away and they had become Sonichu, for at least for a time, during this collision. So just an interesting saga to bring up, just like this theory where Chris was invited to give a public speech about to begin with. But
right.
We don't need to talk about that. Just wanted on the record. I thought that was really interesting. What happened was Chris's dad eventually, this is the beginning of the hard times and the end times. Chris's father dies. And then at that point, the house that Chris and his and their mother was living in burnt down due to some bad wiring on like a power strip or something.
Okay.
So the financial hard times were hitting really hard. The internet was being unkind continually. Right. This led to I guess a closeness between Chris Chan and their mother. This is the word you don't want to say?
Yeah.
Okay. Chris Chan is eventually through some sort of leaked phone call or leaked audio.
Yeah.
Suspected of having an incestuous relationship with their mother, and is arrested and found guilty, I believe, and put away for that.
Yeah. There was on the Know Your Meme, it says there's a section released from prison. They were released March 27th, 2023.
So it just doesn't end well.
Yeah. And again, it's like that's complicated and awful and whatever. But I remember it was like years between hearing anything about Chris Chan or Sonichu, like all those fun Sonichu cartoons go.
Almost quiet, right?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden I open up Reddit one day and it's just post after post after post of like the video of them getting arrested and put in a car.
Yes, it's very well documented.
Yeah, the leak of the audio, talk about the incest, and it's just like multiple tweets. It was like, it's always so weird when you go to, this was before the Elon purchase, so it was like still a little bit more of a stable platform. And it was, a lot of more mainstream stuff, things go viral on Twitter and start trending that are like about, movies or sports or whatever, things that everybody kind of knows. It's always still so weird to me when something like Chris Chan starts trending on Twitter and it's got like hundreds of thousands of retweets and mentions and stuff. It's just like, oh no, it's the dark parts of the internet are coming to, they're getting too close to the surface of like mainstream
the internet is leaking. Yeah.
And I remember it happening and just being like, no, don't like the internet today. This is not the stuff I want. Like, this should be stuff that is dealt with in relative privacy, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but unfortunately, there's just no, like I said, this is the most accessible online persona.
Yeah.
Like, once again, it's the internet's version of reality TV, and it's actually reality, and that's garbage. But anyways,
that sucks.
There's no way this was not going to be handled in the public eye. There was no way.
Yeah. This is the thing I love about Know Your Meme. So they have their interest over time Google Trends thing for every one of their topics or subjects or whatever entries. And, you know, between 2008 and 2010, there's a lot of interest. And then it slowly starts to dwindle. And from about 2015 up until the incest stuff in 2021, relatively quiet, like 6 years or so, where it was like, oh, okay, maybe they've gone away. Maybe people have forgotten a little bit.
That's it.
And then it's a huge spike through the roof, off the charts. And
it's icky stuff. Icky stuff. But also sad stuff, confusing stuff. It's just it's kind of it's like, to me, it's always the reason why I never wanted to cover this topic. It's actually one we outlawed. Yeah, and not just us. What last podcast on the left also outlawed this.
Yeah, that's a good thing that we should have noted probably at the beginning, is that like we are not the only people that don't want to talk about this person.
Yeah. People that are more famous than us have more to lose.
Like,
probably.
nope. They talk about serial murderers and like really
and
weird
they don't want to
stuff.
talk about Chris Cham.
Yeah.
And Sonichu and Love Quest and Fuck Quest and the interdimensional collision that merged our world with the Sonichu verse.
What were you saying?
I lost it.
You ruined your final thought. That's okay. It doesn't matter.
Fine. I think I got it out there. Oh, it's just essentially we didn't want to talk about this. I don't like talking about this because it is to me, this is like the this is the worst that the internet can do, and to an individual and promote. I mean, there's obviously things that
Mr. Hands.
far
Mr. Hands
worse
exists, so there's also that.
Well, yeah, but Mr. Hands was a video of a dude doing something not related to the internet that ended up on the internet.
There is a difference there.
I do think the Chris Chan situation was heightened due to the internet's involvement.
Sure, 100%. I agree.
Yeah, that's all I'm trying to say.
There's not a great way to end this. Besides,
do you have any like good knock jokes?
Oh, you know, we could end on another Jaden Smith tweet.
Oh, that's good. That's a good idea.
Before I do that, I think my final thought would be like, just be careful of what you do on the internet and who you do it to, because you'd never know how it's affecting somebody. Like, to get actually serious here for a second, like the things you say on the internet have real world consequences, or they have the potential to have real world consequences, and it's forever. People will take screenshots. The internet archive exists. Things don't go away on the internet. They just don't. And you never want to be a person that, because you were young and uneducated, you didn't have the lived experience to know better. Like, those are all, like, I can understand that. I've been there. But things don't just live in your mind anymore. And you can put stuff on the internet that if you said in real life and it wasn't recorded, no one would ever bring up, or it would never have any consequences. And in all honestly, it probably like it's not bad to say bad things sometimes. It's how you learn and grow. You regret those things, you feel shame for those things. But when it's recorded and anybody can pull it up and reference it at any point without nuance or understanding or empathy, it can really fuck you over, and it can ruin other people's lives.
Yeah.
So
well said.
Anyway, from Jaden Smith, just stare in the mirror and cry and you'll be good. I think that's honestly a perfect ending for this. And until next time, good luck out there.
Oh, man.
And everyone wanted to know which president was the true throat goat. And
okay, I do remember this.
And they are all some sort of eldritch monsters of yore, right?
Yes.
She was also selling videos of her farting in the jar.
I hate this so much. I hate everything about this.
yeah.
Security starboard.